How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group that had a strong day inside of the market. One thing you want to be aware of, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, Lucid has been doing a great job holding down that $50 area of support. There were many opportunities you could have taken advantage of when it came to doing some quick trades. And this is why I emphasize doing your homework, doing your due diligence, and watching the technicals can help you go a long way. I won't waste any more time. We're going to talk further about Lucid in this video, so let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and the short interest information. The reason why the short interest is important, it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as for the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $55.06, being up 6.46%. On the low, it tested $50.71, and then on the high, testing $55.33. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 75.827 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 121.115 million shares. So even though we did have below average volume on the day, we did see some strength in Lucid stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we could see from the RSI down below, it is right around 66.71. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here in our chart, we have strength above the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as a 21-day EMA. As you can see, we are continuing to be on this bullish uptrend. So like we've been covering in numerous videos, there's been a strong area of support right here at this $50 level. It's been an easy way to actually trade off the price action. Every time it comes down to 50, that's where you want to go in with calls or you want to go in with some shares and then ride the momentum back up. It's done this consistently. As far as for the high that we ended up seeing on the day, it was around $55.33. And this was good to see because you could see on the previous 3 trading days, we were not able to actually reach these particular levels, only having a high of around 54. So reaching 55 was quite the accomplishment on the day. So going into tomorrow, if the markets continue to look strong, then I want to see Lucid make a move, seeing if we can get past $56. And if we're able to do that, we need to get to this area here right around $57.50. If we have more volume coming into the play, this is where I'm going to look forward to that short-term price target that we have of $60. It is very doable for this to happen because if you've been noticing what's been happening, Lucid has been consolidating in this range between 50 and as well as 55. And of course, breaking through 55 could easily send us up to 57.50. So I want to make sure you're paying attention to that, especially if you're interested in trading off of the price action. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So as we scroll further down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So as you can see here, we're looking at the filings for November the 29th, and there's quite a bit. So we have Vanguard Growth Index Fund that purchased just under 1.6 million shares. We also have CRIHX that purchased just under 67,000 shares. We have Vanguard again that purchased just over 1.5 million shares. We also have Vanguard taking a position at just over 1.3 million shares. We also have the Transportation Fund Investor Class that purchased just under 31,000 shares. And we also have Vanguard Total Stock Market market index fund investor, purchasing just over 11.45 million shares. Vanguard's going in heavy. We also see Vanguard Extended Market Index Fund that purchased just over 7.3 million shares. And then we also have QCSTRX that purchased 3,721 shares. We have Vanguard Variable Insurance Fund that purchased just over 151,000 shares. We also have Vanguard again purchasing 317,084 shares. And then we also have VLACX, which is Vanguard Large Cap Index Fund Investor shares that purchased 404,527 shares. And then we also have Vanguard Mid Cap Index Fund Investor shares that purchased just over 9.1 million shares. And even as we go down further, Vanguard again Mid Cap Value Index Fund Investor that purchased just over 1.6 million shares. We also have Vanguard Balanced Index Fund Investor shares that purchased 317,897 shares. And then we also have Ridex Variable Trust that purchased 8,054 shares. And that's what we have for November the 29th. So we know Vanguard has loaded the boat on Lucid. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 44.77%. And then for the dark pool short volume being just over 8 million shares. As we scroll down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 28 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 0.54%. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 24th, it was at 54.50. And then for the close of the 26th, it is at 44.77. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the numbers will be later on in the evening. But one thing that remains clear, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. And we have Vanguard out there that has been loading the boat. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we could see here on the inflow, it was 959. And then on the outflow, it was 915. Taking a look at the breakdown even further, on the large, it was 16.39. Then on the medium, it was 535. And then on the small, it was 407. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 5.38. On the medium, it was 521. And then on the small, it was 389. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for the 26th last week, which we covered, and for the 29th for today, it being a big time inflow of 11.01 million. Wow. When we analyze these numbers even further, the small scale orders tend to represent the retail side. So you can see that we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we took a look at the large, of course, we had more buying than we had selling. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it is at 4.65%. No surprises there due to the fact that this stock is extremely volatile and we have a lot of traders going in and out of this play. But one thing that is still very clear, we have many who are holding on to their shares, and there's also a lot of demand for Lucid stock. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid stock, I'm definitely interested to see how well this stock performs going into tomorrow. One thing that we did notice when seeing the technicals, $50 is holding up as a strong area of support. And I'm going to mention it again. You've had many opportunities to trade off of this price trend, making those jumps from 50 to 53, 54, now to 55. We saw in the past making those jumps from 50 all the way to 57. Now, as far as the resistance area that we need to get past is at 57.50. Price action above 57.50 can get us to that short-term price target that we're looking for right at $60. In my previous video, I talked about what the bearish case scenario would be, and the one thing that you want to pay attention to is not seeing this stock going below 47.50. So now that we got that out of the way, when we went on Fintel, one thing that was very clear, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential, and we have Vanguard that has been loading up on a ton of shares. So of course, this is part of the reasons why we've been seeing some strength inside of Lucid stock. When there's a lot of demand, especially on the institutional side, this can help keep the stock going in the right direction, which is up. Another thing that we also have to pay attention to is what's going on in the industry as a whole. We saw that many other EV plays were running up. So as far as this EV bubble that we're in, if it continues to move further, then Lucid will definitely benefit from this. But the moment that we end up having a pullback, or when that bubble actually pops, then do know Lucid will be impacted. So I just want to make sure if you are inside of this play, you're doing your homework, you're doing your due diligence, and you're paying attention to the facts that are in front of you. So let's see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow. But one thing is for sure, it has provided a lot of opportunities for traders like you and I. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.